everyone, it's me, Lizette Castaneda with Hotel Industry Talk. I'm so excited. I have a really good friend here, Hsieh. Julia, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on here. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to jump into authentic questions. So
All
Julia's
right.
here. Just a quick intro with Meetings Made Easy. She agreed to basically share with everybody and with me what she does in the industry. So excited for this round. So where is your favorite destination and what makes it so special?
So I'm originally from Brazil, born and raised, and this is home to me and probably my favorite place to always travel back to. I love the culture, the friendliness of the Brazilian people, and just how passionate they live out their lives. And funny fact, in our culture, when we greet each other, even if it's for the first time, we give each other a kiss on the cheek.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. No, you said born and raised. When did you move out to the States?
When I was 14 years old.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Wow. Now, how often do you go back?
I have not been back since COVID, to be honest with you. But before then, it was like every other year.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I have never been, and that's on our list.
I love Brazil. Love Brazil.
So what's your favorite food from there, like that they make?
I am such a big meat eater, so churrasco all the way. All the way.
Good. I love that. Now, how many places have you visited, either like all together or US only, whatever you want to share?
Let's see, international, Mexico, of course. Canada, Taiwan, China, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina, mostly South American countries. I really haven't ventured out into Europe yet. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, that's so good. I had a trip planned during COVID. It's funny you say that. I signed up with Habitat for Humanity to help build homes in Uruguay, but because of COVID, it canceled. But I really want to go out there. I hear wonderful things.
Yeah, they are, and the people. I think what makes every trip so special. It's the people, right? It's learning about a different culture. It's experiencing new things. So I can't wait for you to go.
Yeah, I'll share it with you when I decide to go. Now you live in California, so and we're pretty much around the same area. Where do you love to eat in Southern California?
So I live in Orange County, California, and in a city called Garden Grove. So we are very heavily Vietnamese and Korean influenced. So I'm such a foodie as well. So I'm always on Yelp looking for, what's latest, greatest here. But we have an array of different types of food. But my go-to, it's Korean barbecue. All the way.
Yeah, hands down. I know when I used to live down there, I didn't really venture out to Orange County a lot to eat. I did go to the packing district in Brea.
Oh, yes.
That was really good.
That's a fun place. That is a fun place to go.
Yeah. Now, one of the last authentic questions is, are you a podcast person or are you a bookworm?
I am total book person, and not just like an e-reader, right? I need to have a physical book in my hand. And I think that my passion for reading really began when I moved here when I was 14. I mean, can you imagine starting 8th grade with only knowing your ABCs in English? I mean, it's scary. So the library became my haven, and I would go there every 2 weeks, and I would rent out these book series called Sweet Valley High. And I would try to get to it as many as possible. And I think I would have to look up literally every 5 other words. I would always have a dictionary next to me. So hence the reason of why I love books, because that was literally the only way to learn English for me.
Wow, that is really inspiring. And I can't even imagine, like, to your point, 14, because I'm thinking about when I was 14, freshman in high school. And then by that time, everybody has their groups, right? How did you navigate like those changes? I'm sure you had to make new friends.
Everything was new. I mean, and it's such a scary time as well, because you're trying to be like everybody else without being like everybody else, right? And you are trying to make friends, but then you really don't speak the language. And so when I moved out here, even though we spoke Mandarin at home, it was so limited as well. So trying to speak with my Chinese friends was hard, and there really wasn't anyone from Brazil here. So the closest language to that was Spanish. So I'm trying to talk to my friends that spoke Spanish, but it was, again, so limited. So probably that first 5 year really was very, very hard. So when people migrate here from different countries, I get the struggle, because it is so real. I mean, even going to, say, Taco Bell and ordering, a burrito or a hamburger, you are so afraid to speak English because you think that you're going to say the wrong thing. People are going to laugh at you, right? So you tend to, shy away from any type of social setting. So it takes a while, it definitely does take a while to learn the language.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's inspiring, and it shows a lot of resilience. So that's good. So what is your current role, and how did you get started?
So right now I am with Meetings Made Easy, and next month will actually be my first full year here. But prior to Meetings Made Easy, I was with American Express Global Business Travel as a sourcing manager, doing essentially the same thing that I'm doing here.
In hospitality, I think we've talked in the past, you started off in hospitality, right? Yeah,
I did. So that is my whole background. I was born and raised in the hospitality industry, and my grandparents owned a boutique hotel in São Paulo, Brazil. And my passion for this industry really began at such an early age. I mean, I have memories of being 7 years old and watching guests check out, and I would gather all of the folios from guests that have checked out, and I would go in the back office and pretend I was a front desk agent. I would be there stamping things away. Or I remember waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning with my grandmother to go make breakfast for all of our guests. I mean, I just loved all of that.
Yeah. Now, how has it been like transitioning to the meeting planner side?
Two parts, I think, to that question. I think prior to COVID, right, everyone that worked in the hospitality industry, if you worked at a hotel, you had to be on site. My transition really came from wanting to have that work-life balance, right? So growing up in this industry, I saw how tirelessly my parents worked. I mean, it's a 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year job, right? So that transition of coming from the hotel side to the meeting planner or meeting broker side was really to find that work-life balance. But I think what helps with all of that in working at a hotel is that all of that experience and all of that knowledge that you have gained, it kind of helps you be a better meeting broker. You understand the same language, you can speak the same language. And when a hotel is trying to tell you one thing, say, for example, no worries, we can turn this room in 20 minutes from 300 people theater style to full rounds. You coming from that side, that that's not possible, right? So the impracticality of it. So having that prior knowledge coming from, the hotel side, you kind of know, okay, what can be done, what can't be done, how you can better negotiate on the behalf of your client.
Yeah, and I'm sure that contributes to the success you have on the planner side, right? Knowing all of that. Really good. All right, next question. What are some things you have learned on the meeting planner side that you wish you would have known during your hotelier career?
I think this is an easy one, and two things come to mind that I wish I knew. If you receive an RFP, either via CVN, through your CVB, or whatever other platform, right? You really need to adhere to that due date, because more than likely, that is when the meeting broker is going to be pulling that site availability report to the client. So this report is a spreadsheet that is a side-by-side comparison of all of the hotel stores in the client's desired destination. So if you do not respond by the deadline, you will not be included in that report for consideration. I know that sales managers are extremely busy, right? And I've been in that position for 10 years. I get it. But if you're not going to be able to get to it, or if you are out, traveling for work, email the meeting broker, let them know. So they are able to give, the client heads up, especially if it's a hotel that the client has specifically asked for. I think another thing to really keep in mind is when we ask questions on the RFP, it's because it's important to our client. I have certain clients that will only book meeting space with natural light. So under the Q&A section of it, there will be that question: does your proposed meeting space have natural light? If you leave it blank, the client won't know. They will just not consider your hotel for this event. But keep in mind, because this is a side-by-side comparison, right? You have your competitor on this side and your competitor on this side, and they are laying out everything that the client is asking for. Yes, we have natural light. And then my second question is, what concessions can you provide in order to win this business? And they are listing one by one out. And on your side, you have it blank or TBD, or we'll discuss it once it's shortlisted. The client just automatically looks at that and thinks, wow, they're not really putting that effort to win my business. So those are two things that it's something so simple, but I wish I had known while I was on property. Think of how many, opportunities I could have won had I just known how to do that.
Yeah, no, that's really great feedback and advice for hoteliers out there. So take a listen to this one, because you want to make sure you're filling out the RFP properly, because your RFP is up against the competitors from a visual perspective. So Thanks for that. And I've been watching your videos on LinkedIn, and you inspired me, and I love that you love to educate hoteliers out there. Where does that inspiration and that drive come from? Like the reason why you put it out there?
So it's so funny that you say that, because, people that I meet in industry events, they will say that they have seen, a video that I share and they find it insightful. But to be completely honest with you, every time I tape one of those, I have total imposter syndrome. And it's so weird that I feel this way, because I was born and raised in this industry, went to college for it, did an internship with Marriott, corporate management trainee with Hyatt, and worked as an NSO for Hilton Worldwide. And you would think I would know a thing or two, but it feels so funny, sharing all of these videos. And it wasn't until Mike Fajeda, which is our CEO and total industry guru, right? And he has been relentless in encouraging me to put these videos together, to share knowledge. And I think we assume that people know what we know, and that could, it couldn't be farther from the truth. So hence the videos.
Yeah, no, that's really good, because I can relate when you say that imposter syndrome. I get in this space where I'm like, well, who am I to do that, right? And it's almost like it brings on a lot of nerves. But it's so great that you mentioned Mike's name, and I'm going to give him a shout out, because you reminded me of a really important moment when I talked to him at IMAX in 2022, I want to say. I was with a different brand at the time, and I was doing hotel industry talk, but I wasn't really calling it that. But I was putting information out there for franchisees, right? It was very, I would say, I don't want to say basic information, but how to build a group resume and, what to do if you're hosting a sports group. So information like that. And Mike came up to me at IMAX and he said, I want to let you know that what you're doing is great and keep doing it. And it was a moment of, it was just one of those moments of wow, someone is seeing it and listening. So just so you know, I'm watching, and I know a lot of other people are watching what you're doing, and
Aw,
keep doing it. So
thank
yeah,
you.
so you're
Thank you.
welcome. So let's talk about, women in leadership roles and just women in our industry. We all have, various strengths. What do you think women bring, like, how do you think women bring their unique strengths to hospitality leadership?
I think this industry has evolved.
Yeah.
It's beyond just filling heads in beds, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It focuses on the deeper meaning behind where we choose to stay, where we
Yeah.
choose to conduct our business. It's no longer just about a place to sleep. It's about hospitality. It's about
Mm-hmm.
service. It's about
Yeah.
all the intangible elements and the emotions and the overall experience of why we choose one property over another. And much of what we do
Yeah.
is emotional, right? We buy
Yeah.
from people that we trust. And woman innately possesses that natural
Yeah.
ability to connect, to engage. When I think
Mhm.
of hospitality, I think of home, I think of grandmothers and aunties and that
Oh,
sisterhood.
yeah.
So, and every time I go to these event trade shows and whatnot, when you see someone that you have worked with in the past, right? When you see another woman, it's just that natural, come here, let me give you a hug. What's
Yeah.
going on with your family? Tell me about your kids, right? I
Yeah.
love that in this industry, we are so much like that. And
Yeah.
women just again innately possesses that natural ability to engage and to connect.
Yeah. Oh, that's so powerful. I think about like even that nurturing spirit, and that's where it comes from, right? Oh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. I'm like, this is a gold, everybody. Now, you know, it's a very demanding industry at times. We talked about 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. How have you been able to, whether it's even now you may not work as much, but you still balance, right, the demands of this industry? How do you maintain a good work-life balance?
Every move that I have made in my career really has
Mhm.
been to find that work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
Our priorities when we are a single woman to when
Hmm.
we have kids are completely different, right?
Yeah.
Now you have someone that depends on you for that home cooked meal, for that ride, or to take them to school.
Yeah.
And women are such multitaskers, and we have a gazillion things to figure out all before 8
Yeah.
a.m., right? So,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of that stress really comes from not being present in the moment. I mean, you are working at a task, but you have two, three other things already in your mind that you're trying to think
Hmm.
ahead and you're worrying about. My advice to really strike that balance, and it's advice that I have to constantly remind myself of, is to
Hmm.
be present, being the moment, doing that one task the best that you can, and then
Yeah.
moving on to the next one.
Hmm.
Um, and I am the same way with my personal life. Like I want to be present with my family,
Yeah.
body, soul, and spirit. Right? I don't want to miss a thing, and then that's my advice for work as well. Take a
Yeah.
moment, do one thing at a time, because just the way we are, it's kids. The kids are calling, the school's calling, everybody needs something. My husband
Yeah.
needs something.
Yeah.
Take a moment, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only way you can keep on going, or else you burn out. You burn out super fast.
Yeah, and it's almost like you have to remind through your actions and doing that for self, it's going to remind others like, wait, you're right. Let me breathe. It's not a crazy fire. Although, I mean, hotels have experienced floods and crazy stuff, but I will say for the most part, we're not surgeons, and I think that if we just take a moment to pause, that's like really
Yeah.
great advice. And now talking about women stepping into leadership roles in the industry, and you seeing that and really leveling up. I feel like we're seeing a lot of executives, right? VPs that are women. Um, when I think about that and I think about the future, what are some things you would like to see differently in the future or improvements for women who are stepping into leadership roles?
I don't think we put enough emphasis on women mentoring women. I would
Okay.
like to
Yes.
see more
That's
leadership
great.
development, more
Yeah.
mentorship programs
Yeah.
across our industry, right? And there's so much knowledge, and a lot of it is shared via social media. But
Yeah.
I still want someone to show me, to
Mm-hmm.
teach me, right? Tell
Yeah.
me your secrets. Like, I want to soak it all up. And that is
Yeah.
why mentorship is so, so, so important.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's, even though we're starting to see some groups come about, but I crave that, to be honest. And we may have had this conversation in the past where I didn't really start off that way. Like I kind of just moved up in the industry, front desk, the next role, but there wasn't really proper guidance. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I hear you when you say that because I feel it.
Yeah, it's so much of our industry is learn as we go, learn as you fail, right?
Yeah.
But it
Yes.
would be so much easier if we had someone that was like, oh, I made this mistake.
Yeah.
Let's try not to do that. Let me teach you how you can avoid all of these missteps,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we're lacking.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Thinking about college students, because this is something that's heavy on my heart as far as educating, you know, um, either it's college students or young professionals out there who are trying to figure out what's next and what opportunities are out there that exist. What advice would you give them in joining this industry?
Look, a college degree is great,
Mhm.
right? But I think for you to really advance in this industry,
Mhm.
experience just takes precedence. And then my recommendation would be to start at the bottom, work the front desk, the night
Yeah.
audit, valet, bellman, housekeeping,
Mhm.
banquets, because all of these departments, they work cohesively together, right? And in order for you to excel, you have to really understand each department's functions and also their
Mhm.
struggles. I cannot tell you how many executives I know that are in that position because
Yep.
they started at the bottom. Like, get that experience. I cannot tell you how important that is.
Yeah, you're relatable. And I feel like when you are also talking to people who are up and coming, you're already executive, but you've worked your way up,
Yeah.
there's a different level of respect. It's almost like when you talk to a senior leader who's worked in your shoes, you feel more connected to them.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share with everyone before we leave today? And I don't want to. I want to like keep talking to you, but last thing, is there anything else you want to leave?
You know, this industry is always evolving, right? There is
Yeah.
no cookie cutter way to do things anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
always being the hunt to learn new things. I mean,
Yeah.
AV technology is constantly changing. A
Mhm.
new app or a new platform,
Yep.
it's just around the corner, right? And let's just talk about the current administration. They have made policy changes, funding
Yeah.
changes, right?
Mhm.
That has had some negative impact in our industry.
Yeah.
You have to get ahead of that. Does your contract have, language that kind of protects you from
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
What I appreciate from Meetings Made Easy is that my colleagues are always, sharing something new that they see in the contract or something cool that has happened at a
Yeah.
hotel. And that's really the only way to learn. It's when we are able to share that knowledge amongst each
Mhm.
other, right? So always being the hunt for new things. And that's the only way really to elevate, your knowledge.
Yeah.
Just don't be stagnant. The only way to be successful is to be fluid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Such great advice. You inspired me. I'm sure you're going to inspire so many other people. And thank you again, Julia, for being here.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I really appreciate it. So for everyone out there, I will be sharing this interview in bits on social media, and then I'll share the entire interview at some point within the next week or so. But thanks again for listening in, and we'll talk soon. Bye.